Hey, well, thank you for taking the time to sit down with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your enthusiasm in the conference earlier, because you were asking great questions about movies before we started. So thank you.
Thank you a lot for listening to those questions. I'm Jack Lacey, or John Lacey. I'd like to just ask you a few questions about your opinions
Sure.
on movies, filmmakers, and such. One question that I've asked a few people have been, do you prefer George Lucas as a writer or a director?
It's an interesting question. I particularly don't think George Lucas is a great director, but I do think that what he created with New Hope is pretty brilliant. I mean, the scope of Star Wars. I mean, I don't. There's some stuff in the prequels I kind of like, but overall, I would think Lucas. I think Lucas is a better storyteller, a story writer, and screenplay writer than he is a director. But Star Wars. It's hard to argue because Star Wars is so epic and he created it. So it's like almost like it's a weird thing to say,
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see. So, what are your opinions on like M. Night Shyamalan's film career?
Yeah.
He started strong with Sixth Sense and things like that, but it dropped with The Happening and other things.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I've kind of always found myself championing M. Night Shyamalan because I feel like he's such a great filmmaker who just kind of got caught in a bad streak. I mean, Unbreakable is a masterpiece. It's my favorite movie he's done. Sixth Sense. I didn't like Glass because I just didn't think I thought it was super anticlimactic, but I thought Split was interesting. So I just think his career is interesting to me. I still think he's one of the greatest because he has like 3 classics under his belt, and that's hard to do for any filmmaker. But filmmakers hit a streak. That's why Quentin Tarantino talks a lot about retiring after his 10th movie, because he doesn't want to get caught in a bad film streak. That's his theory on it. Because Hitchcock didn't make great movies towards the end of his career. Coppola's made some bad movies recently. It's interesting. But I like M. Night Shyamalan. I think Sixth Sense and Unbreakable are classics.
Yeah, honestly, I do too. My dad actually really likes The Happening. I've never
Yeah,
gotten why.
it's pretty bad, but
Yeah.
but I will say, like, The Happening had some interesting ideas. I think there was just the direction. I just don't think Wahlberg was right for the role. But
Yeah.
hey, your dad, listen, like, nobody's right or wrong. I'm not right. He's not wrong. And the other way around. It's just a personal opinion.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that. This is a question I've also been asked a couple of times. It's been, what do you think about adaptations from animated series from Japan over to America, people Americanizing it and putting it into live action? What do you think about those kinds of movies?
What's a great example of that for you? Like Pokemon, maybe?
Tokyo Ghoul?
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, not Tokyo Ghoul. It was Ghost in the Shell. It
Okay. There you go.
It was an amazing movie in Japan, and apparently people didn't like the movie. I've never seen the movie, but...
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson. I remember Ghost in the Shell was an anime film. I remember seeing like Akira and all those movies growing up. I remember hearing about them. I thought the Ghost in the Shell film was actually pretty good. I mean, it was like very well done from a visual effects standpoint. I thought Scarlett Johansson did a great job with the action. I didn't think it was like memorable in the sense of like it was a classic, but it worked for me. It's interesting. It's hard to adapt because you're crossing cultures, right? But universal language is what movie speaks, right? Like, so stories should resonate no matter what the language, what the culture is. And I don't know, I thought Ghost in the Shell worked fine. There's been some interesting transitions. I can't remember any other specific transitions, but I like that one.
I do too. I feel like the problem was, I haven't seen all of it, but I feel like the main problem was because Ghost in the Shell, the 1999 movie, people absolutely loved the animation, and that was one of the best things about it. I feel like they didn't really feel comfortable with it becoming live action.
Yeah, well, animation gives you a lot more range. So if you look at Into the Spider-Verse, they're able to do things with Spider-Man that they can't do in live action films or where it looks CG. So with animation, you're able to actually play with anything you want to do with the character, which is really cool. It's kind of a freeing aspect, in my opinion.
The only other example I could probably give was the Death Note movie for Netflix. That was definitely not received well. I didn't really like it that much.
I didn't see that one, but I had heard about it. I just didn't see it.
Yeah, because it kind of dumbed down some of the ideas, in my opinion, that were very nice in the original.
Okay.
All right. Next question would be, what are your thoughts on Batman the Animated Series?
I've not seen. It's funny. I don't watch a lot of animated series. I have not seen the Batman animated series. I mean, I've watched a lot of the Batman films. Clearly, like the Dark Knights and the. I'm looking forward to Matt Reeves' new Batman. But what's your favorite movie of all time? Out of curiosity.
Honestly, it's John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982.
Nice.
It's a great suspense movie. I absolutely love the cast, and it's all around great. I wish it had gotten that sequel that was proposed. Unfortunately, it didn't.
Yeah.
It got a comic sequel, which wasn't that great in my opinion, but yeah.
Is John Carpenter your favorite director?
He is one of my favorite directors, definitely. He made a Cars series.
Yeah, yeah. What else do you love? Who else do you love filmmaking wise?
Honestly, there are a lot of directors I definitely love. Tim Burton was one of my favorites for a while.
What's your favorite? I love Edward Scissorhands. That's like my favorite.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Beetlejuice is definitely one of my favorites.
Beetlejuice is great.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah, Burton's. All these are all great filmmakers. You have great film taste. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you talking to me, man. Thank you so much
appreciate
for. I'm glad we were able to make this happen, man.
Yeah,
thank you for your passion. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, it was really great being able to talk to Kevin McCarthy. Being even able to be chosen to do this was awesome. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, I was kind of nervous at first, but I was also super excited. What I learned from this competition was basically that I learned how nice it was, how pretty convenient it is to be like a film critic, and I learned a lot about Kevin himself. I learned a little bit about the industry, stuff like that. I sent a video in online to the competition. I said what I wanted to do. I said what I was interested in from filmmaking wise. I talked to him as well before all this happened and everything, so that was nice.